भी एते वर्णः स्वधर्मेण यजन्ति स्वगुरुं हरिं श्रद्धयात्मा विशुद्ध्यर्थं यज्जातः सः वृत्तिभिः एते वर्णः स्वधर्मेण यजन्ति स्वगुरुं हरिं श्रद्धयात्मा विशुद्ध्यर्थं यज्जातः सः वृत्तिभिः. Hare Krishna. If any volunteers for reciting the verse.
Can you make the font little bit big?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Varna sadharmena jajanti sha gurum harim Saddhayatma vishuddha artham yajataha sa vittivihi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ete varna swadharmena yajanti swagurum harim Shradayatma vishuddhartam yajata saha vrittibi.
Hare Krishna. Ete varnash dharmena yajanti swagurum harim sadayatma visuddhiyartam yajata saha vrittibi.
Ete varna swadharmena yajanti swagurum harim Shraddhayatma visuddhyartham yajjata sa vrittibhihi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay. So we'll go on with the synonyms. Ete, all these. Varnaha, orders of society. Swadharmena, by one's own occupational duties. Yajanti, worship. Swagurum, with the spiritual master. Harim, the supreme personality of Godhead. Shraddhaya, with faith and devotion. Atma, self. Vishuddhi artham, for purifying. Yat, from whom. Jataha, born. Saha, along with. Vrittibhi, occupational duty. Translation: all these different social divisions are born with their occupational duties and living conditions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, for unconditional life and self-realization, one has to worship the Supreme Lord under the direction of the spiritual master. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Purport: since they are born from different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord in His gigantic form, all living entities in all parts of the universe, entire universe, are supposed to be eternal servitors of the Supreme Body. Every part of our own body, such as mouth, hands, thighs, and legs, is meant to render service to the whole. That is their constitutional position. In subhuman life, the living conditions are not conscious of this constitutional position. But in the human form of life, they are supposed to know this through the system of varnas, the social orders. As mentioned above, the Brahmana is the spiritual master of all the orders of the society. And thus, Brahminical culture, culminating in the transcendental service of the Lord, is the basic principle for purifying the soul. In conditioned life, the soul is under the impression that he can become the Lord of the universe. And the last point of this misconception is to think oneself the supreme. The foolish conditioned soul does not take into account that the Supreme cannot be conditioned by Maya or illusion. If the Supreme were to become conditioned by illusion, where would be his supremacy? In that case, Maya or illusion would be the Supreme. Therefore, because the living entities are conditioned, they cannot be supreme. The actual position of the conditioned soul is explained in this verse. All the conditioned soul are impure due to contact with the material energy in three modes of nature. Therefore, it is necessary that they purify themselves under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master who not only is a Brahmana by qualification but must also be a Vaishnava. The only self purifying process mentioned herein is to worship the Lord under the recognized method, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master. That is the natural way of purification, and no other method is recommended as bona fide. The other methods of purification may be helpful to come to this stage of life, but ultimately one has to come to this last point before he attains actual perfection. Bhagavad Gita 7:19 confirms this truth as follows. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudevah sarvam iti sa mahatma sadurlabha. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with by offering Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Utapatkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagar Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshutarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So before we start with our discussion from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled devotees so that I can say something which is whatever I have learned from my spiritual master and my seniors, and I am able to say that in right way. If there are any offenses or any mistakes, please correct me. We'll start. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. The title of the canto is Status Quo, and chapter 6, which is the creation of the universal form. So right now we are on verse number 34, which is we are coming towards the end of this chapter, and this verse says, Ete varnasva dharmena yajanti swagurum harim shraddhayatma vishuddhartham yajjatah sah vrittibhi. All these different social divisions are born with their occupational duties and living conditions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, for the unconditional life and self-realization, one has to worship the Supreme Lord under the direction of the spiritual master. Hare Krishna. So here we see that the translation mentions that everything is coming from Krishna. So far, we have seen in this chapter, beginning from this chapter, very short recap that how the elements got created by Mahavishnu, the 23 elements, and when they were unable to combine, mix among themselves, they got frustrated, and the presiding deities of all these elements started praying to Krishna, Mahavishnu. Why they started praying? So that they can do their duty for which they were created. So they started praying, and then Mahavishnu, Karnodaksha Vishnu, responded to them, and then we see he expanded as a Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and there is a manifestation of Virata Rupa in this chapter we have seen. So Virata Rupa is created now, and after the creation of Virata Rupa, we see different things are coming from the Virata Rupa. First, we saw the manifestation of different demigods from the universal form. The different demigods like sun god, Surya, and different demigods. They are coming from the uh, the universal form of the Lord. And then after the creation, the demigods are created. There is a development of planets, living entities, and varnas. So we saw in 27 to 29 verse, there's a description of development of different planets and living and different planets like the heavenly planets, earthly planets, and the sky. So that we covered, and then starting from verse number 33, we saw the manifestation of the varnas, the social orders. That is the part we are discussing from quite a few classes, the description of different varnas and how they're created from the body of Virata Rupa. So these four social orders are coming from the body of Mahavishnu. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me. Everything is coming from me, whatever we see in this creation. There is nothing in this creation which is not coming from Krishna. Krishna is the cause of all causes. But for Krishna, there is no cause. Sarva Karan Karanam. Krishna is the cause of everything, whatever we see in this creation. So we saw the demigods are created. We saw the development of planets, the heavenly planet, earthly planet, and the sky. And now we see these four varnas are also created by the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna mentions about these four varnas in the verse number 13 of chapter 4. It says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasha. Krishna says, according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of the human society are created. And they're created by Krishna only. So, Krishna is not creating anything just without any purpose. There is purpose behind it. So, these four divisions are created, social orders are created, which are called four varnas, social orders. What are these? First is the Brahmanas, which is coming from the mouth of the Virata Rupa. Second is the Kshatriyas, the military personnel and the government administrators. Then the third is the Vaishyas, the farmers or the business people. And the Shudras are the laborers, artists, craft person. They are the Shudras. These four divisions are created by the Supreme Lord. So the Brahmanas are coming from the mouth of Virat Rupa. The Kshatriyas are coming from the arms. Vaishyas are coming from the thighs, and Shudras are coming from the legs. So for proper functioning of society, any society, we need all these four kind of people. All of them. We need Brahmanas, we need Kshatriyas, we need Vaishyas, and we need Shudras. All of them are very important for functioning of society. These are, we can understand with the example of a body, that how we have different limbs of the body. We have hands, we have legs, we have eyes, we have ears, we have nose, all the limbs. And all of the limbs are very important for the working of the whole body. If any one of the limb is missing, there is a it's very difficult to perform the functions of the body. Definitely the head, the mouth portion is important. If the head is cut off, the body cannot remain. But still, we see that each and every body part is very important for the functioning of the body. And these four social orders are different limbs of the Virat Rupa. And what is the purpose of our hands, legs, eyes, ears, nose? The purpose of our different limbs of our body is to serve the whole body. The legs cannot say that I cannot work for body, I will work separately. I will do something separately for myself. That's not possible. If leg is separated from the body, does it have any value? There is no value. Similarly, the hands, similarly, the eyes. The purpose of hand, legs, eyes, ears, nose, everything is to serve the body. That is their constitutional position, to serve the whole body. Similarly, all these four varnas which are coming from various limbs of Virat Rupa, their purpose is to serve the Supreme Lord. The Virat Rupa is the body. And who is Virat Rupa? Virat Rupa is coming from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is coming from Mahavishnu, Karnodakshaya Vishnu. And Karnodakshaya Vishnu is coming from, he is the expansion of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. It is said that Jivarapa Swarup hoye Krishna Nitya Das. That is our constitutional position, to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Otherwise, our existence is, our human form of life is wasted. In one of the bhajan, it is said, Manushya Janma Paya Radha Krishna na bhajiya Janiya Sunya Vishkhaya. After having obtained this human form of life, if we didn't worship, if we didn't serve the Supreme Lord, Radha and Krishna, then this is like giving poison, just wasting this human form of body. So here, all these varnas, social orders, are very, very important. If someone thinks, okay, only the Brahmanas are important because they are doing their intellectual class, and Shudras, their laborer class, they are not important. And they disrespect those people, don't treat them nicely. That is actually a disrespect to the Supreme Lord, because they're coming from the Supreme Lord. And according to their nature and the mode they're associated with, they are engaged in that profession, in that work. And for proper functioning, they are also required. They are also required. So if we disrespect them, if we disrespect the Shudras, we are disrespecting the lotus, the legs of the Lord. It is the Shudras are coming from the legs of the Virat Rupa. So we are disrespecting the Supreme Lord. That means that. You see, in our society of ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, also we see We have different types of devotees working or serving the Lord in different capacities. Some devotees are more inclined to reading the scriptures. Some devotees are more good in administrative work by nature. Some devotees are more good in service. They might be managing cleaning service or arranging some other things. So, is it possible to maintain the society without any one of them? It's not possible. We need all these kind of people to run any society. So all of them are very, very important for any society. And they are dependent on each other. They are not independent. Like Brahmanas give knowledge. In scriptures it says there are 6 duties of Brahmanas. Yajan, Yajan, Patan, Patan, Dan, Pratigraha. They study the scriptures, they teach others the scriptures. Then they worship the Lord and they teach others how to worship. And they give charity and they accept charity. And out of these 6, the 3 are very important for them: to study scriptures, to worship, and to give charity. To give charity. So these 3 are very important. So the Brahmanas class, they give knowledge to the other 3 classes, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. And based on their teaching, the society is run perfectly. In Vedic times, we see the kings used to have the Kul Gurus, who were the Brahmanas, and they used to guide the king in their running of the kingdom. How to run the kingdom in a perfect Krishna conscious way, so that the citizen, all the citizens can also progress in this spiritual journey. That is the purpose. Not only just materially, but the king, it was a duty of king to help the people in the kingdom progress spiritually and become Krishna conscious. So that was the duty of Brahmana. But the Brahmanas, they're also dependent on Kshatriya in some way, because Kshatriyas they protect the society. They protect the society. And the Vaishyas, they do the business work. It is said their job is Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijam. The agriculture, they produce food grains, cow protection, that is their work. And the Shudras, they offer service to all other classes. So they are not independent, they are dependent on each other. So if one person is there, other is not there, it is very difficult to run the society. So we see here that so all these are very important for us for running any society, as Krishna mentions. Without any one of them, it is very difficult to run any society. So here we see main thing is, even though these varnas are there, but the main point is to serve the Supreme Lord to attain perfection. It is said that whatever varna one is in, if they want to purify their existence and achieve self-realization, they should worship the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavatam, there is one shloka, Atah Pumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagasha Swanushitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshnam. It is said that, O best among Brahman, the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to the caste divisions and the order of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the main perfection. That is the perfection. Whatever varna we are in, if we don't worship the Supreme Lord, then it's waste. It is very important to worship the Supreme Lord. The bhakti element should be there. Otherwise, it will be materialistic. If bhakti is not there, if the service to the Supreme Lord is not there. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, chapter 2, the verse 6 mentions the supreme dharma of all, for everyone, anyone, in any order. What is that? Save pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti adhokshite. Ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiditi. The supreme dharma, paro dharma, for everyone, for all, is service to adhokshaja, who is one of the name of Krishna is Adhokshaj. So that is the parodharma, the supreme dharma of every living entity in any varna or any ashram. If someone is not doing that dharma, then it is a waste of that form of life, human form of life. And especially in the human form of life, that is our constitutional position. If there is an animal form, then it's very hard. It's very difficult. Like how we are sitting together and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, the animals, for them, it's very hard to do it. But for human form of life, it is the supreme dharma to worship the Supreme Lord. Save pumsam paro dharmo. And then only we can achieve happiness and achieve the goal of our life, the human form of life, which is going back to Godhead and attaining Krishna Prem, the love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. All our activities, whatever we're doing, we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we are cooking bhoga, we are doing arti, we are chanting, we are doing Harinam Sankirtan, we are organizing festivals, we are cleaning. What is the purpose behind for us doing all those activities? The purpose is to develop love for Krishna, Krishna Prem. That is our main goal. And to achieve that goal, Srila Prabhupada mentions how to achieve that goal. We can achieve that goal only by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga. And how we have to do the Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga should be done under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. If we think that we can perform the bhakti whimsically according to our convenience, whatever we like or we don't like, okay, I like this, so I will do this, and I will do this way because this is more comfortable for me, or this is more I can do this in this way only. That may not be right, but because this is comfortable for me, I will do in this way. If we do this, that's not right. We have to perform bhakti yoga under the guidance of spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. That is one of the point Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport of this verse which we are reading today. So bona fide spiritual master, we accept the bona fide spiritual master and perform bhakti under his guidance. And then we are able to achieve the goal of our life. So that is one of the important points Srila Prabhupada mentions in this verse. In Bhagavatam, Canto 7, and first I will mention the Canto 4 one. In the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, in verse 8, in fourth canto, chapter 8, verse number 71, Srila Prabhupada mentions that in the purport that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also mentions that if we want to be successful in our attempt to go back to Godhead, we must very seriously act according to the instructions of the spiritual master. That is the way of perfection. There need be no anxiety over attaining perfection, because if one follows the instructions given by the spiritual master, he is sure to attain perfection. Our only concern should be how to execute the order of the spiritual master. A spiritual master is expert in giving special instructions to each of his disciples. And if the disciple executes the spiritual master, that is the way of his perfection. So Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the purport of 4th canto, chapter 8, verse 71, in reference to the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. How Dhruva Maharaj followed the instructions of his spiritual master Narad Muni as it is, without any change. We sometimes change according to our thinking. Okay, let me do this, or let me do this. But we should seek guidance from our spiritual master, that what is right for us, how we should progress in bhakti, how we should perform our bhakti. And the main thing is following as it is without making any change. That is the main thing. And we should not be anxious, because if we follow the instructions, success is guaranteed. Prabhupada mentions there need be no anxiety over attaining perfection. Sometimes we think, oh, whether we are given these instructions, whether whether we can do it or not, whether we'll be successful in this or whether we'll be failure. What if we become fail? What if we are not able to do the instruction given by spiritual master? We don't need to worry about it. The only thing is we have to do it with full heart. That is the quality of the spiritual activities. In material world, no matter how much hard work you put, if you're not successful, there is no value of that work. But the same principle doesn't work in case of the spiritual activities. Here, Krishna sees the endeavor of the person. How hard person has worked, with how much eagerness he's trying to serve me. The eagerness is there. Then Krishna sees that eagerness, the hard work, even if the result maybe sometimes here and there, not maybe 100%, maybe 80%, 60%, 50%, whatever. But if it is done with full heart, full conviction, Krishna takes that work, he accepts it. So that is the thing. There need be no anxiety over attaining the perfection. But we should be following the instruction as we see Dhruva Maharaj followed the instructions of Narad Muni. So when I was reading this, I was very much like inspired by reading this. And we see in our society also, Srila Prabhupada has given us the program. Our morning program starts with the Mangal Aarti. And what are the prayers that we sing? We sing the prayers, Guru Ashtakam. Our day starts with that in the morning. Why? Because it is very important. By serving, by taking the instructions from the bona fide spiritual master, we can achieve perfection of the life, which is Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prem, going back to Godhead. In one of the prayers of Guru Ashtakam, we say, Yasya prasadat Bhagavat prasido prasado Yasya prasada nagati kutopi. It says, by mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. And at least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. 3 sandhyam. It says, Dhyayan suvam sasya yashas 3 sandhyam vande guru shri charanarvindam. At least 3 times a day, we should be offering respects and remembering our spiritual master. Because by worshipping, by surrendering, by submissively hearing from the spiritual master and doing the activities, whatever are assigned to us, we can achieve perfection. We should not jump into other activities. In Krishna, Bhagavad Gita says, whatever activities one is born, the nature of the one's person, she should do those activities. They should not jump to other person's activity. That is very important. So whatever our spiritual master instruct us, okay, you are, because he knows what we can do. So they engage in that area only. So we should be following the instructions of spiritual master very nicely. That is one of the instruction we see in this purport given by Srila Prabhupada. And this purport, which the verse we read, at the end, Prabhupada mentions the Bhagavad Gita verse that out of many millions of, no, after many births and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So knowing Krishna to be the cause of all causes, it is not like a very, we can say, a cheap thing. Not everyone knows that. We see in the world, in society, there are so many misconceptions. Someone says this is the cause, someone says this is the cause. Different people, different words. But what our scripture says? Scripture says that Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the source of everything. Everything is coming from him. And by surrendering him only, we can achieve the perfection. And how many people are there who have surrendered to Krishna? Prabhupada says, after many births and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. So here we see, we have all gathered, we are, with the mercy of Prabhupada, we have learned that how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the cause of all causes. And then by surrender, the process is given to us to surrender unto the Supreme Lord under the guidance of spiritual master in any varna or any ashram. And then we can achieve the perfection of this human form of life. It is very rare opportunity for us. Now we have attained this. We have gotten this devotee association, Vaishnava association. We should take full advantage of it. Try to do bhakti very seriously as given to us by our previous acharyas, our spiritual master, and don't make any compromises. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Lord Chaitanya says that Brahmand Brahmite kon bhagyavan jeev Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata beej. It says, out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with the bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of creeper of devotional service. This is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. So, we are very fortunate that we have gotten this seed of bhakti by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Now our duty is to protect this seed, because when the seed is there, it is a very gentle. It is very, we have to protect it very nicely. When we see how the plant grows from the seed, when the seed is there, we have to nicely nourish it so that it becomes and grows into a good plant. The same way, we have gotten this Bhakti Lata Beej by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And we have to protect this beej. How? By following the instructions of spiritual master, by hearing regularly Srimad Bhagavatam, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, the purports of Srila Prabhupada, given by Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, by reading them, chanting every day, associating with devotees. Yeah? The more we do Shravanam and Kirtanam, we are watering the seed and giving it the sunlight. When the seed gets the sunlight and the water, how it grows? It grows very nicely. Very nicely. And when the sunlight is not there, not proper watering is there, not proper care is there, what happens? The seed becomes dead and nothing comes out of it. Same way, we have to protect this Bhakti Lata Beej, Bhakti seed, which we have gotten by hearing regularly, every day, Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya, every single day, whatever time, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, depends on one's schedule. Read every day. Personal reading is also very important. Associate with devotees. as much as possible. If we think we can do bhakti alone, it's very difficult. We see in the case of Bharat Maharaj, how he went into the forest after attaining the very high stage of devotional service. But he was alone there. He was alone. There was no devotee association. And he, after leaving everything, the whole kingdom, family, everything, in the forest, he got attached to the deer. If he would have been in some devotee association, someone would have corrected him. But that time he was alone and he got attached to the deer and he left his body thinking of the deer and becoming the deer in the next body. So it's a whole pastime, but I'm just quoting the point which is relevant for today's discussion. So it's very important, the devotee association. So all these things, if we follow very nicely, in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami has given how we should do the 64 links of bhakti and in very great detail. So we should try to follow as much as possible and seek guidance from the spiritual master, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, or our senior devotees in our movement. If we have any struggles or any issues in performing bhakti, we can seek guidance from them. And then we can easily, there need be no anxiety. As Prabhupada mentioned that purport, I love that line actually. When Prabhupada mentioned, if you follow the process, there should be no anxiety. Because the success is, perfection is guaranteed. So that's the hope for us. That's the hope for us, that perfection is guaranteed, provided we submissively hear from Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, and all the senior Vaishnavas, and follow the bhakti process nicely. So that's what I want to say for today. Yeah. So if anyone has any comments, question, yeah, you can say. Thanks for listening. If any corrections, please correct me. Hare Krishna. Are there any comments, realization, corrections?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it was really wonderful to listen to you. It was really like simply way you explain. So like any of simple people can understand like what to do. Like me,
Yeah, bhakti
I
should be
don't have
simple.
any too much knowledge, but
Yeah.
I can also understand what you are trying to say. Like instruction given by the Shiksha Guru. If we follow correctly, then achieve successful is guaranteed. It's really nicely explained, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Because sometimes we feel anxious, oh, we are doing bhakti, but whether we'll be able to achieve what we are working for, or all our attempts will, how it will what will happen. But the Prabhupada is giving that guarantee. Don't be anxious. That actually, when I was reading that struck me actually. Because sometimes we become anxious, oh, I don't know whether I'm doing right or no. But Prabhupada says, no, if you are following the instructions rightly, don't be anxious. The perfection is guaranteed. So that is a hope for all of us. What Prabhupada says. That's a hope for all of us, Mataji. Thank you
Yes,
for sharing.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other devotees would like to share anything?
Very nice class, Mataji. I really appreciate your points on just, the devotee association and even taking some extra time to read. I was meditating actually exactly on that this morning, how I want to increase my reading. So I thank you for that reminder. It was a good reinforcement for me. So very nice class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vrindavaneshwari Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay. So I think there is nobody now for anything. So we'll end today's call. And happy Krishna Conscious Day. Are there any announcement, Dronacharya Prabhu?
No announcements right now.
Okay.
We're good. Thank you all for
Thank you.
celebrating Lord Nityananda's appearance day yesterday. It was a wonderful
Hare Krishna.
festival.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
जय
और प्रेम हरे हरे बोल।
हरि बोल
हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you very much, Mataji.